Howdy folks, I'm Scary Scorpius, severely stinging soft sundresses.
I'm Amber.
And here are more soft sundresses for us to sting. I have no idea what the sundresses have done to upset me so much that I want to sting them, but apparently they've done some horrendous crime against humanity. Maybe they angered Bernard the Unhinged.
Who knows? You're the one going around singing sundresses.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I can assume is that I am a cult member of Bernard's cult, and that he has summoned his scorpion army to sting sundresses. Let's hope no one's wearing them. Let's get started. Oh, and folks, before I forget, we have a live stream coming up on April 26th, which is next Friday. Hopefully we'll see you there. For more details, check out the end of the video. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Bailing Out the Man My Husband Fought Instead of My Husband? Last week, 2 police officers knocked on my door to inform me that my husband, A, was in jail for getting into a fight with another man, B, over a young woman, C. My husband and C were having an affair. It seems that B caught them, and my husband decided to fight him. I didn't want to see my husband at that time. We had always had a happy marriage. Furthermore, he was never a fighter. I don't know who this man is. I did visit B to find out what happened, and he told me that C was acting suspiciously, and he found out that she was cheating. He knew my husband was married because of their texts. He caught them in the act and threatened to tell me. It was a bluff because he didn't actually know me. My husband decided to physically fight B to get the phone. The neighbors ended up calling the police, and both of them got arrested. B seemed like a sweet, earnest young man. I can't believe my husband hurt the poor thing. He didn't have any criminal history. He had a lower bond than my husband. He didn't have the money or family to help him, so I decided to bail him out instead. Eventually, my mother-in-law bailed out my husband. They've all been upset that I bailed out the other man instead of my husband. My husband has pleaded for my forgiveness. He says it's not a physical affair, but an emotional one. I'm trying to figure out if this is something that can be forgiven. Apparently, B was very manipulative and can put on an innocent face. My husband says that he doesn't blame me for being manipulated, but said that I shouldn't have done it. I feel that this is pretty condescending. Was I the jerk for bailing out B? Alright folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. And while I can't speak to B, I can definitely say your husband seems manipulative.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that is true. Does seem like he's trying to say that this other person's being manipulative and that I mean, it's hard to say because we don't have the full story from all parties and whatnot, but what motivation would B have for lying here, right?
Right. Well, and no matter what, he got caught and he got into the altercation. We know those 2 facts.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't cover them up. And it seems very likely that he would want to prevent OP from finding out the truth. That makes perfect sense. OP's husband does not seem like a good person in the situation. And again, I don't know enough about B to say anything one way or the other, but definitely the husband seems not like the person I would be listening to in the situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's going to spin this in the way that he thinks is going to suit him best, and trying to convince OP that this wasn't a physical relationship when he was caught in the act. Why would he be at this woman's house, right? Why is he there?
Well, and has he opened up to OP, disclosed everything, or is he just saying, take my word, trust me that nothing happened, giving you all the texts, and it just seems like he just wants to sweep this under the rug and be like, oh yeah, it wasn't a big deal, just stop being upset with me.
It wasn't me, he said. But clearly it was. I think that he's just trying to pull a fast one on OP, to be quite frank. It seems like he is going to lie to them and try to convince them that this other person is just a liar and whatnot. And the thing is that why would B, again, have any motivation to lie to OP?
Right, well, and we already know that the husband was, caught hiding something. Again, he has shown himself not to be an honest character. Even if it was a strictly emotional affair, that's still an affair, and that's still not okay.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Pretty Little Mind says, so the real issue here is not that your husband cheated on you, but that poor little you fell for B's sad puppy face and bailed him out. Right. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Your husband could teach a class on deflection and manipulation. Not the jerk, and lady, you best run. And UC Killa said, not the jerk, and I would have changed the locks on those doors so fast and packed their stuff and then have it outside and tell them to only contact me through my lawyer. Opie, your husband is a piece of garbage, and I hope you divorce him and get everything. Men like that are what give us good men a bad reputation. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for asking my ex not to have his girlfriend stay over at the house that I pay rent on? I feel like this situation is making me doubt my own sanity, and I would appreciate the perspective of Redditors. Throwaway, because I don't want this linked to my main account. I'm a 38-year-old female, and I was in a relationship with someone, a 44-year-old male, for 8 months. And then I found out that they were seeing someone else. A person they told me that I should not worry about. They told me that it was nothing, that they were sorry, and I very stupidly agreed to work on the relationship. I was going through a bad time as I had recently gone through a personal tragedy and was having difficulty in work, love, and just feeling very dumb. At the time, they needed to move into a new place, and we had an agreement that I would help them with the rent on the new place while we looked for a place to buy together. Again, very dumb. They signed a lease for 12 months, and we said that we would use those 12 months to work on things. I did not sign the lease. Well, 4 weeks into that lease, they dumped me. 1 week later, they were having the person that they said that I should not worry about in the house to stay for days at a time. This is the same house that I was paying about 70% of the rent on, as they are between jobs and could not afford to live anywhere. I've been through a lot these past few years, but I cannot describe to you the level of distress. I ended up having to go see my doctor, who prescribed me some medicine just so I could continue working and my other responsibilities. We have gone to a place where we are sort of friends. There is no hope of a relationship anymore. I have continued to pay rent because to not do so would leave him in a terrible situation. They recognize the distress that this has caused me, but they continue to bring this person into the house to stay. I have asked them not to because I feel humiliated by the situation. I am paying rent on that place, and it was a bridge between bad things that happened and our life together. They are using that house for their activities with their new partner. I know that I'm dumb for being exploited. The lease is up in a few months, after which I will not continue to provide support. He has said to me that I am manipulative and toxic for making this request for her not to stay here. I would like to know if I'm the jerk for asking him not to have her over in the house that I pay rent on. I feel like I might be the jerk because people should be free to live their own lives however they want, even if it makes me feel terrible and ashamed. And I was dumb enough to get into this situation in the first place. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. And OP, this isn't your fault. This isn't a lack on your part. This man is not a good person and is using you.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, yeah, he's right that he should be free to live his own life, but it has to be on his own dime. Like, he's expecting you to foot the bill for his place, like, after you've broken up. I don't care what his financial situation is. It's not your responsibility.
Yeah, OP, you've gone above and beyond. And I think that you can withdraw your support at any point in time and feel perfectly free that you aren't doing anything terrible here. Was this 8-month relationship? It was an 8-month relationship. You don't need to be paying for this guy any longer, right? He can figure and sort things out himself. I mean, maybe I could understand OP having a little more like empathy for this person if this had been like a 10-year long relationship or something like that, but I don't know. Like,
I still, like, it still would not be OP's responsibility at the end of the day.
It's not incumbent upon OP to find housing for this individual who went behind their back and cheated on them. Just give them the boot now. Say, I'm not paying any more rent, and that's that. And then you don't have to think about it, and you don't have to try to control the situation, because I do think that OP is kind of like exerting some level of control over this. It doesn't sound like they're currently living there, though, right?
No. They're paying for a separate apartment for him.
So I think that OP, if you don't want to pay for this other person, that's perfectly acceptable, but that's probably going to involve you not paying at all. And this other person should just be grateful that you gave them so many months of free rent. Plain and simple. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Calendar Dad says, at least you have rightly admitted to making a litany of dumb decisions. The big question is, why do you continue making them? You should not be paying one more penny on his apartment, not a penny. Making this unenforceable request for this woman not to go to his apartment and not keep them apart, and what would you care anyways? Stop paying. Not the jerk, unless you keep paying rent, then you will be one to yourself.
I mean, I do not like this whole like blaming people for being trusting and calling it stupidity. Like, we do not know the circumstances of this relationship. We don't know how charismatic this individual is. It isn't okay to blame people for being manipulated and taken advantage of.
Yeah, I mean, I think that OP probably had their heart set on trying to make this relationship fixed and work, and maybe they thought that if they continued to be nice to this person, that they would turn around and be like, oh, this person, I'm so grateful for what they've done here, right? But he's just using OP at this point in time. Mm-hmm. So I think that OP needs to cut their losses and just cut support for this man. And OP replies, you're right. One of the many ridiculous aspects of this is that I don't care if they are together. I feel peace and I have energy when I don't hear from him. But the knowledge that I'm subsidizing the relationship while also not wanting a human to be homeless makes me feel like garbage. I have to put myself first for once. You aren't going to make this person homeless, OP. They are an adult. If this was a child, I would be like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing this to a child. But this is a grown adult who has made a decision to cheat on you. They broke their agreement of a relationship, mm-hmm. right? So you aren't making him homeless. You are not responsible for his housed state. Mm-hmm. He can find family or friends or any other people to crash with if he really needs to. But you are not responsible for his actions. And Initial Dish 6682 says, you are not on the lease, stop payment, and let his girlfriend handle it. Know your worth. I'm sure that he had already had this set up. Why else would he dump you 4 weeks into the lease? And OP replies, definitely a setup. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber has a book that is written by Jovial Bobstein that has words in it that can sometimes be funny.
Sister, Mom has asked me to fix your grapefruit for you. How much sugar do you want on it? Brother, too much, please.
This is just like, did he like sit around at the table one morning and his kids are like, hey, Ma, I want sugar on my grapefruit. This is just a breakfast, Jovial Bobstein. This is just your conversation that happened at breakfast. We don't need that. Oh no. And I have licorice spice. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching on this spectacular Saturday morning. I hope it's going spectacularly for you. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please, have it on cheating.
You don't have to support your cheating partner.
Yeah, whether it's bailing them out of prison or continuing to pay the rent. You don't have to support them. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.